there, this is Susan Norrell, and we are going to talk about simplifying a sum or difference of two univariate polynomials. So let's start with this first example here. This is going to be the sum because we are adding. When we are adding, we can basically drop the parentheses. So what I like to do is I like to basically put the like terms underneath each other. So I've got a positive 2x squared. So I'm going to have positive 5x squared plus 4x plus 1. And underneath that, I'm going to have my second polynomial, positive 2x squared plus 7x plus 6. And you can see here that I am adding these. So I kind of like to go back to like 3rd grade here and add them this way. So I'm going to add my like terms. I have two x squared values, I have two x values, and I have two numerical values. So I have positive 5 and positive 2. So that would give me a positive 7x squared. I have a positive 4 and a positive 7, so that's going to give me a positive 7 plus 4 will give me a positive 11x. And a positive 1 and a positive 6 would give me a positive 7. So my final answer here would be 7x squared plus 11x plus 7. Sorry, my dog is very needy. Change my colors up a little bit here. Again, I am adding these two values together. So I'm going to list them here. Negative x squared plus 7x minus 5 and make this one pink. Positive 3x squared plus 6x plus 4. Now, anytime we have a value that does not have a number in front of it, we are to assume that there is a 1. So that is going to be a negative 1x squared. So now we can go back and add these two polynomials. Okay, so we have negative 1 and positive 3. Anytime that our signs are different, we'll actually subtract the numbers and take the sign of the bigger number. So 3 minus 1 would give me 2. And since my bigger number is positive, that's going to be a positive 2x squared. Now, if that confuses you, let's come over to the side and figure out why that rule works. Think about a number line here where my water level is 0. In the positives, I'm breathing just fine. And in the negatives, I am drowning. So here I am at -1. and I'm going to go up 3 because I'm adding 3, positive 3. So if I go up 3, let me change my color. If I go up 3, 1, 2, 3, you can see that that puts me up here at positive 2 feet above the water level. So I'm breathing just fine up here. So that's why I'm up here at positive 2. Now I have positive 7x and positive 6x. So 6 plus 6 is 12. So plus 1 more 7 would make that positive 13x. Now, apply those integer rules, negative 5 and positive 4. If my signs are different, I'm going to subtract the numbers and take the sign of the bigger number. What'd you get? 5 minus 4 is 1. The bigger number is negative. So that would be minus 1, negative 1. And again, if you think about that, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, if you're sitting down here at negative 5 feet below the water level, and you go up 4 feet, 1, 2, 3, 4, that only puts you at negative 1. That puts you 1 foot below the water level, so you're still drowning. That's just how I kind of try to think about it logically. Okay, so that makes your final answer positive 2x squared plus 13x minus 1. All right, let's see what happens when you have 2 values versus 3 values. We're still adding, but you have a binomial plus a trinomial. So let's list that trinomial first. 3x squared minus 7x minus 4. Now, as you list your binomial, make sure you list the like terms underneath. So this would be a positive 2x squared. But notice that's just a numerical value. That positive 1 is not going to go underneath the x value. It's going to go over here underneath the other numerical value. I'm going to list it underneath its like terms. So it's kind of like you've got a plus 0x. Because if you think about it, 0 times x is 0. And 2x squared plus 0 plus 1 is just plus 1. So that's kind of like your middle term is 0x. But you don't have to write that. Okay, so combine your like terms. 3x squared plus 2x squared. Signs are the same. So we're going to add the numbers and keep that positive sign. 5x squared. Now, we have nothing to combine that negative 7x with, so we're just going to bring it down. Or, if you kept that 0x there, negative 7x plus 0x would still be negative 7x. Negative 4 plus 1, signs are different, so I'm going to subtract the numbers. 4 minus 1 is 3. And I'm going to take the sign of the bigger number, which is negative. And there's my final answer. So it's okay that I combined a binomial With a trinomial, I just didn't have an x value to combine with that negative 7x or that minus 7x. So it just stayed the same. And this works with other letters too. It doesn't always have to be x. Here's t. So why don't you pause the video and try this next one completely on your own. Okay, as you can see, I'm just writing the first polynomial down. Writing the second polynomial down. And then add them. 4t squared plus negative 2t squared. Signs are different, so we're going to subtract. 4 minus 2 is 2, t squared. But we're going to keep the sign of the bigger number. The bigger number here is positive, so that's going to be a positive 2t squared. Negative 3t, positive 5t, plus positive 5t. Signs are different, so again we're going to subtract. 5 minus 3 is 2. Take the sign of the bigger number, that's going to be positive, so that'll be plus 2t. And last, signs are the same. They're both positive, so we'll keep the positive sign, plus 13. 2t squared plus 2t plus 13. Two more problems, except this time, let me replace that minus sign with a subtraction sign. I don't know if your course did a subtraction sign. But let's just do it. Why not? Shh. My dog's being needy. I lock the door to keep my family out because they're needy too. And I said, be quiet and let me do this video. You can probably hear them too. Okay, so we're going to change these to subtraction signs because, you know, you need to learn it anyway. Even if I can't find it in the course, let's just figure it out. Okay, so basically what we're going to do is we're going to distribute this minus sign to everything inside this set of parentheses. This is a minus sign. So let's go ahead and write our first polynomial. Negative 5t squared plus, remember if there's not a number, there's an assumed 1. So we'll go ahead and write plus 1t minus 3. Okay, now let's distribute this. Negative 4t squared, because that's a positive 4. anytime you've got a minus outside parentheses, we're going to distribute it. So we're changing that to plus a negative. Minus 2t minus 6. And now we can add these two polynomials together. So basically we changed this from minus this polynomial to plus the opposite of it. So we changed it to, let's come down here, negative 5 t squared plus t minus 3 plus negative 4t squared minus 2t minus 6. So once you distribute this minus sign to everything on the inside of the parentheses, you no longer have to keep the minus sign outside the parentheses. Now you've got an addition sign. So minus this polynomial is the same thing as adding the opposite of that polynomial. So you distribute the minus sign to everything inside the parentheses, and now you can add the two polynomials together. So negative 5t squared, negative 4t squared, signs are the same, so we'll add the numbers together and keep the negative sign. Negative 9t squared, positive 1t, negative 2t. Signs are different, so we'll subtract the numbers. 2 minus 1 is 1. Keep the sign of the bigger number. 2 is bigger than 1, so we'll keep that negative sign. Negative 1t. Negative 3 and negative 6. Signs are the same, so we'll keep the negative sign and add the numbers together. 3 plus 6 is 9. So here could be our final answer, but we could clean it up a little by taking that 1 out. So negative 9t squared, because 1 times t is just t. So minus t minus 9. And there's your final answer. Shh. Ruth. Sorry, my family's getting ready for bed. All right, so again, now here we have that binomial minus the trinomial. So we're going to do the same thing. We're going to distribute this minus sign. And so instead of having minus this trinomial, we'll have plus the opposite of the trinomial. So let's do that. We'll distribute this minus sign to everything inside. So we'll have negative 7u squared plus u plus now when we distribute this minus, we have a negative times a negative is going to give me a positive 3u squared. And that makes sense because we're saying the opposite of negative 3u squared is positive 3u squared. A negative times a negative 2u is a positive 2u. The opposite of negative 2u is positive 2u, and a negative times a positive 5 would be a negative 5. And again, that makes sense because the opposite of positive 5 is negative 5. So basically, you're changing these signs. All right. So now we can line up. So let's take our trinomial. 3, I need that to be pink. 3u squared plus 2u minus 5. And now we'll put our like terms underneath it. Minus 7u squared, or negative 7u squared underneath it. Plus 1u. Remember, if there's not a number, there's an assumed 1. But notice we don't have a number. We don't have a numerical value because there's just 2. It's a binomial. So now we'll add these two together. 3u squared plus negative 7u squared. Signs are different, so we'll subtract the numbers. 7 minus 3 is 4. Take the sign of the bigger number. 7 is more than 3, so that'll be a negative 4u squared. 2u plus 1u, signs are the same, so we'll add the numbers and keep that positive sign, plus 3u. And there's nothing to combine with that negative 5 or minus 5, so we'll just keep that minus 5. So our final answer there is negative 4u squared plus 3u minus 5. All right. I hope these examples are helpful. I will also have some links to some other websites that I find quite helpful. Let me know if you have any other questions. Bye, guys.